when it comes to you, we will provide the, at the bottom will be a 3/4 inch male connection.
Mm-hmm.
So basically there'll be the 3/4 inch pipe hanging down with male threads.
All right.
Be what you get. And then the power is up here on the off end side. 110
Volts, good.
Yeah, I think we say like a 20 amp circuit.
Yeah,
So
that'll work.
Yep. So there are some updates. The PLC, the drive for the table is AC now.
Oh, nice.
So that's less problematic than the DC
brushes,
motor. Yeah. Especially in a high moisture environment. I mean, we had to update the terminals to fit more stuff. Obviously, this took up a lot of room, so we had to revamp everything. We do have, for maintenance-wise, though, it is kind of nice because if you're down here, you can actually, we got a flip-out main fuse. You can actually deal with that down there.
Everything. Oh, nice.
And only thing about this drive, if you don't let power down all the way, it'll throw a fault. So I'm gonna power it down all the way.
All right, I see.
But the fuse holders, our pull-out fuse holders, are slightly different, but they use the same fuses
Okay.
that you have now.
All right.
That's the 4mm by 20mm metric fuse in different sizes. So basically, power comes in here. This is 110 in. Everything is fused. These two are fused going in. Then there's a fuse just for the PLC power. We have a fuse for that counter. And then the inputs have their own fuse, and then the outputs have their own fuse.
Oh, nice.
So if you have a sensor that fails, it's just going to be on the input. It helps you eliminate out of 50 things which way to go, hopefully.
All right.
Or if there's an output that fails and keeps blowing the fuse, it's going to keep blowing the output fuse. So hopefully that helps trying to trace when it happens. I don't know when, but
Yes.
hopefully that helps. And then down here, we have the 110 volts that's feeding these drive boards and the heaters. Fuse into them, and also now we're fusing on the motor side too when needed.
Nice.
On the DC drives, there is one drive that is. Let me think. Let me think what that one's for. And actually, that one's not supposed to be in there. This was a. I think originally this had a spin litter. We converted it to a pick and place litter. So this drive shouldn't be in there. I'll take that one out before it ships. But you got your film pull, film take.
Don't take it off.
That's the same drive as you have now for film pull, I do believe.
Yeah, it is.
We use different brand now, but with the same results.
Nice.
So, yeah, not mostly associated around the PLC. It's a 1400 now. And then we have the level control.
All right.
You're going to be controlling the pump, I presume, or valve, possibly?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
And I got this is wired, so we got a diagram that'll be in the manual, but basically it's all pre-wired. So if you need a dry contact, you just hook up in this place, or if you need a powered 24 volt powered to run a solenoid or something, there's a jumper you install and then you hook up. There's a diagram that shows how to hook that up.
Awesome.
That way you don't have to go any further than hooking your wires up, whether it'll be a dry contact or you can hook it up with a jumper and have a powered 24 volt output. So,
All right. Very nice.
and that also is fused separately. So each component's got its own fuse, other than the sensors and the valves.
Nice, nice. All right.
bigger box, of course. And then we have, I think you have all the options other than a mixer, but we have dropper, level control for filler, litter, and then the lift station under filler. The BU stands for bottom up fill. This one's lift only. There is an option to have spin, which you don't have, but technically the lift, it will work in either position because everybody's got a habit of turning all the way to the right for on. That's a pretty common option for thicker products. And then we have the heaters. Got 2 heater controls, 1 switch to turn 'em on. I'll let those heat up. Then we have a switch for the sealer, and then a couple options for the sealer: plain film or printed film.
All right.
And then we have, if you're working with plain film, you have 3 selections on how far it advances the film: small, medium, and large.
All right.
And what I figured out, there's 1 setting for the small cup, and the squares, they actually have the medium setting, and the rounds have the large setting.
All right. So small, the square, medium, and the round, big, it's large. All
Yep.
right.
And then the controls are a little different than what you have. We got the start and stop are all in 1 push button now. We still have e-stop, and we still have jog forward, reverse, and the speed. And let me show you inside here. It won't look a whole lot different than what you have now. Just it's got a little bit more on the door, and that's the amplifier for the
Print and
yeah, for the
register.
fiber optic guy we're using for the printed film. So there's not a whole lot in there. I mean, we got solid state relays like before.
Yeah.
A lot of switches though.
Yeah. And does this have the foam liner inside for waterproof? Oh yeah.
Yep.
Y el botón, en lugar de tenerlo aquí para avanzar, está aquí en la orilla. Lo que avanza es el plástico.
Like
Yeah.
they cover it now, like, yeah. I've seen even simple switches that I still depends on. I've seen stuff that's rated waterproof. When it goes into a cold room, things tend to change a little bit. They shrink up. I'll leave these here. Let's see. Okay, that. So maybe I'll go around with everything and kind of go over the things that are slightly different. I mean, the dropper, it's still the same principle. You got the shoes, they open, close, then we have the vacuum to help pull the cup down and release. The one thing that's different now is on this setup, I did for some of the different cups, I did have to slow the cylinder down a little bit. But also, what's new is we have a sensor on the cylinder to turn the vacuum off.
Oh, nice.
So you're not dead set on a fixed timing. So when you get your plant, it's cold room, we need more vacuum because they're harder to pull
Yeah.
apart. You can, so basically when it gets to that point is when it's shutting the vacuum off. So that can be adjusted now, rather than being fixed point in the program.
All right.
So you can run longer vacuum timing without having to get in the program.
All right. And now there's been some instances where we got low air, and because the startup of the machine is really cold, sometimes over weekends and stuff like that.
When you first start,
yes.
it's kind of sluggish.
Yeah, so this cylinder, there's been a couple of instances that goes up and the turntable runs into it and it bent into cylinders. So the suction cup, it will stay up, it will get jammed in there, and then the turntable will turn and my cylinder will.
Yeah, sounds like. How much air pressure you run?
It's 110.
unless timing's running so close that if the cylinder slows up a little bit.
And the air, it's like even all the way adjusted out all the way.
All right.
And it would be nice if we would have a read sensor for the turntable to say, okay, I'm on a down position, or I already passed the point.
Yeah.
Then I can turn. It would be nice to have that integrated in all the cylinders, because that's one of the biggest problems we have. We have a pile of cylinders like this that are bent.
Yeah. We've done that here and there, but from our experience, it limits the top speed of the machine when you do that. Because you got to verify the cylinder's clear before you start to drive again, and that could limit the overall speed of the machine. We've tried doing that, and then whoever's buying it says, we want this, and then you get to the plant and try to make it work, and production don't like it because it won't go fast enough. We've done it upon request, but it's just basically you can't rotate the table, so you verify the cylinder's clear.
I see. Well, hopefully we don't have the same issue with this one.
Yeah.
Well, what's the cost of replacing those cylinders?
Which cylinders?
The ones that until they get bent?
Right now they're about 450 cylinders.
So we can maintain a steady pace. How often do we break them?
I would say I would say once every 2 months that will happen. It's not like, but it does happen. You can ask Jose. And sometimes even that one over there, sometimes this one, mostly this one over here.
Because they're going through the table.
Yeah.
So we're spending about, you said once a week, so $2,400 a year.
Sometimes, yeah. It happens once every
Every 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, but
And in downtime, on this one you got more space. On the other one, it's harder to replace it because you got very limited space, and it takes about 30 to 40 minutes to replace a cylinder. Continue, Joe. Let's keep going.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, we're using vacuum generators. There's 2 different styles we use on this particular setup.
Do you have bigger ones?
No.
The ones that I'm using, they're this big.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because these ones with the moisture and the washdowns and everything, they get plugged right away, and I'm using something like this big
Yeah.
as separation. Since I put that big one,
Yep.
we had no problems with vacuum. It's also adjustable, so you don't pull it so fast. But these ones, it will work for, I bet you. It will
Yeah,
work for a
usually
week.
once they get plugged.
Once they get plugged, no vacuum,
Yeah.
and then replace them until I got to get
The porting's bigger, so the stuff kind of blows through it then.
So maybe I'll end up
Yeah.
changing those.
We have the same valves. They're
Yeah.
interchangeable. We got the no cup sensor. We're actually looking as the pocket passes over it. And
I
on the gearbox, we got a couple proxies that we tell it when to look for which pocket. So, machine's bigger, but there's only a certain amount of space. So, but that works very well. We've used that a lot.
is any of these gonna, probably a silly question, but any of this gonna be an issue getting wet?
What's the IP reading on that?
All the valves, they're all sealed. It's a washdown rated motor. The bottom, eventually you're gonna get to a point where you have to rinse the bottom.
Yeah, we do wash on the bottom. At least once.
You probably
every 2
once
weeks.
a month or every
Every
couple
2
weeks. Yeah.
It gets really messy.
And let's see, we do for the filler, for the fill cylinder, we are regulating down the pressure for those.
All right.
Right now it's set at 60. I'm not sure how much pressure you run on that one. On that cylinder, sometimes if you run real high pressure on it, when it moves, it kind of jerks a little bit. And sometimes on the thinner products, that can be kind of hard to overcome.
All right.
We have the bomb up fill. So basically all the cylinders underneath, they're doing both sides.
One cylinder on both. Yeah.
Yeah, for both sides.
I see.
So we have the filler. This is all this part of it kind of looks similar.
Yes.
We got the cylinder and we measure amount of product, and it's got the reed switch to tell it when it's done filling. We have a dual plug valve. Do you have a plug valve now, or is it
Yes.
still ball valve? Okay, so it's a dual plug valve.
The same.
Same principle. And we have nozzles, so basically once the eye sees the cup, it keeps track of what pocket has a cup. So basically if both these pockets have cups, then obviously both sides are going to fill. If only one side has a cup in it, then we're only going to fire open and fill. We're going to turn the valve, but if we don't open the other side, it won't fill. So that's how we can separate the sides, is it's got a nozzle to help us separate the sides.
All right.
And in the logic, I'm looking to see what pocket has a cup. And if only one side has a cup, then I only look at the one side. And then I only need the one reed switch to make it finish filling.
Oh, nice.
I see that this is different, so it's a lot more heavy duty because we go through them often. This control valves.
And then I do have the airlines, since it's a double filler, over here on this side, I got between the airlines for whichever side it's on, I got a number stamped.
All right.
So for side one, both the lines for the nozzle and the piston are stamped with a number 1, and obviously side 2. Now, because on occasion, you know, somebody gets lines crossed. If you always have cups in every pocket, you won't notice, but as soon as it misses a cup is when you'll notice something's not quite right. 'Cause
All right.
then it comes time
It
to
will
separate
be
the
smart.
sides.
It will be smart to color code the hoses then.
Yeah, that probably helps too. But I do have them stamped between the ports. Stripping valve side 2, side 1, and then the piston side 2, side 1.
All right.
What we're calling 1 and 2.
Which one is one for you?
Everything is clockwise. So number 1 is the first one, 2
Alright.
second one.
All right.
So next we got the film heat seal. It's same principle. There are some things slightly different because it's a double. So we have back here we have the roller for registered film in the eye. Do you have this set up on yours?
No.
Okay. This,
We run without this, so everything is the same without.
yeah, okay. So this, basically, this carriage lets you adjust for the different cuts for the different diameters. Because obviously for a small cup, the cuts will be closer together.
Yes.
That's how you used to line it up with the cut on the seal head.
All right.
And then we have, since we got 2-stage cylinders, since the pinch plates we can't separate, they're one set of pinch plates for both sides. We got the top and bottom airlines run the pinch plates basically. Then the center stage is what does the cutting.
I see.
So basically we're always going to pinch, but if there's only one side happy with a cup, then we only run the knife on that side. So basically how these are tubed, you got cylinder 1 and 2, and this is cylinder 1, cylinder 2, and basically these are hooked up how they're on the cylinder, so your top line to top, center line, and bottom line.
All right. Neat. Very neat.
And basically, that's,
Heater, knives, springs.
yeah, the knives, the
same.
heaters, seal plate, heaters, thermocouple, springs, shoulder bolts, these outer rods, those are all interchangeable.
All right.
The couple things that are specific are the air cylinders and the block to the two up. Same motor, same indexing gearbox, same clutch.
All right.
All the same sensors that you use now, pretty much.
Yeah.
So this is our pick and place litter. You said your machine has one of these on it?
Yes.
Just a single up version. So it's the same principle. We do have an updated head here where we have the shoes underneath.
All right.
And this whole head is interchangeable as a unit,
All right.
like the
nice.
dropper is.
Okay.
So on this machine, I think yours is an older version where you got to change the shoes
Yes.
and you still have to change the vacuum puck itself, but this whole plate here, it's got a bolt here and a bolt here, and quick disconnects, you can pull the whole plate off. So if you were to go around, you'd be changing the whole plate like a dropper.
Nice.
And then once the plate's off, you can get to this head easier to change the adapter plate on the head.
All right.
So that does make that part much easier. And plus, working on it, I think it's a little easier to see what's going on here when you have to set it compared to the older
Yeah.
version, because the shoes are actually in the way. You can't see what's going on because
Yeah,
the
they're on
shoes
the
are above
side.
the plate, so this is actually in the plate.
Yes.
You can't see.
And the shoes are on the side.
So it's, for working on it, it's much better.
Yeah.
You can actually see what's going on. These are our newer vacuum heads where this stays on. When you do a changeover, it's either going to be this part or these two pieces together.
All right.
So you don't have to take that off no more,
The block.
like the
Alright.
older style. Other than that, it's got the same cam, it's got the same rollers that run the cam, same shaft, same bearings.
All right. Same sensor on the bottom.
Yeah.
Let go ahead.
Yep.
Release.
And same vacuum generators as, so now we have the off end. So it's doubled up there, and then we have one long cylinder there to bring them out. And on this off end, this is adjustable. For a small cup, this will have to adjust in to minimize the gap. And this also is adjustable up and down, but I find, which you can get to it if you take this plate off, but what I try to do is set it up for one height so it works for all the cups, so you don't have to get in there.
All right.
And I like to have as minimal adjustments as possible.
Yeah.
So I like, when there's multiple cups, I like to see them all lift to the same height, and we'll just bring this all the way up. And worst case, you just have to move this in and out. And this has extension depending on how you're coming out to the conveyor. If it's a side transfer, you can take this off.
Yeah.
Or
We
if it's an
usually
end
have
transfer.
attachments where it's a let it slide.
Oh, okay.
You
So
have
you'll
to
probably,
reverse it to flip the cup
yeah.
upside down.
No, no more.
Okay.
Or some people do an end transfer where we need to come out further because of the radius on the sprocket. But
Yeah.
this is removable if you don't need it.
All right. See, the suction cups are smaller on for, or is it for this setup?
Let me show you some of the other parts. We have, for all the rounds, that's the rounds. This is the squares, or the 6.5 ounce. And this is the 2.3. We call them little dippers or single serve. That's for the small ones. And then we have various lift shafts under the filler for your various sizes. Now I assume for all, you probably don't lift for all your products under the filler.
Not all, but yeah.
Some of them maybe. It's something nice to have when you need it.
Yeah.
And then there's a film holder for the narrow film too.
All right.
And then you got the square insert.
The
Yeah, we can mark them when we get back, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the smaller round.
These were the 1.5.
I like stainless.
And then here's the smaller product barrels. You got two smaller barrels. You got that one, I think does up to an 8 ounce. And this one does up to a 5 or 6 ounce.
Alright.
So on these two, you change the piston and tube.
Would you show me right
Yeah.
now?
Eso me lo pueden, ¿no? Para hacer la sofía ahí.
So we're going from 8 ounce, let's say, to a 1.5.
Yeah. Or bigger.
Vice versa, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, put it this way. I don't remember what sizes you have currently, but I think you got two sizes. I think you have that size and the bigger size.
Yeah. No, we got all three.
Oh, you do? Okay. Matter of that, and then it's a matter of just
Les mandaron por el test lo que tenía.
then obviously clamp. And
Alright.
then what's on the machine is the 40 ounce barrel, we call it. Goes up
That
to
can
40
go-
ounces.
That can go up to 40, and the lowest would be
The lowest you can, this
16
barrel,
or 20?
we've tested that barrel, we've been all the way down to an ounce on that barrel.
1 ounce.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I don't remember what we tested, but I think it was like mayonnaise or something like that. Not too thick, but it wasn't too thin. Either mayonnaise or pudding or something. I don't remember.
Is it too much to ask if you describe the max and the minimum on it? If you can describe, do you have a? I don't want to punch it.
Yeah, I don't know if we have your engraver.
That will be really nice and very helpful, because now the operation can just use this barrel. Sometimes there's misunderstanding which to use, and they have issues, and then we're trying to build something.
Yeah. Basically, if they were scribed, you'd have like a setup sheet. Then they
Yes,
find the part.
right away. So this will go with this, and this. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that would be great because that would be easier. So.
Or if we actually had our part numbers on them, either way, as long as there's a way to tell them apart from the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the sizes would be more
got a
easier for
question?
them.
Do you know what the accuracy of this one is? You said the lowest is 1 ounce, but what is the variance, like 0.1, 0.2? Is that- Did you?
I think on these, we were weighing in grams down to ounce, and we were 1%. Yeah. We always, some people, their tolerances is a little more than that, but we always try to see how tight we can get it.
Good question, Son. Appreciate it. All right, Joe. So we're gonna be getting three sets. So that's one right there on the machine for squares and for rounds.
Yep.
Now I ask
There's one on the
that-
large round, there's one with flat,
Yes.
and one with tapered.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I was going
And that was on the order. I checked that yesterday.
All right.
And the tapered one, which cups you use that for?
8 ounce.
8 ounce? Because it's rolled off more.
Yeah.
I think I actually used that for everything. It seemed like it did pretty well.
The flat.
The radius, that one got the angle on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
But regardless, you have both. So
All right. Let's get some cups in there and
about the button, it has two buttons on one side, and one of them is this one, and the other one is to control the button for the drop. It's only the sensor that you were talking about, but how to control how hard or how.
yeah, basically what I was doing with these, I was adjusting the flow control a little bit, and I was able to make it work for all of them.
Okay. So now we don't need a button
to decrease
because it has
timing.
like 3 settings.
As we have it on the reed switch for the height, for the adjustability, that's actually what turns the vacuum off when
Oh, okay.
the reed switch on the cylinder.
Okay. So there's no need for that button anymore. You know what I'm talking about? The button
Yeah.
that controls.
Right.
So now you don't need that.
And plus, a lot of machines didn't have the button, so they didn't have adjustability. So we've gone to the sensor. So there's an indefinite amount of
Okay.
setting it, because sometimes even with the button, I've seen it where after like 9 months they're like, we need to adjust the timing because it just doesn't seem right.
Okay.
We've run into
Ya no
that
se
before.
necesita ese botón.
Pero hay
Esto ya lo hizo que trabaja con todos los vasos que tenemos.
pero si se calibra ahí o
No se calibra, ya no
porque hay
necesitas-
vasos, cuando nosotros cambiamos de envase, hay vasos que se le requieren menos fuerza, hay otros que se requiere más, como el de pesto. El de pesto no pesa igual que el de 16 onzas de atún.
Okay.
A veces se amerita, depende del corte del plástico también que está fallando la máquina y hay que acomodarle también el corte del plástico. Eso lo tiene, pero falta es este.
Ahorita la
Porque
vamos a ver
veces
trabajar.
empieza a caer mal el vaso. Eso más que todo es como para que el vaso caiga en precisión en el molde. Porque si no tiene una precisión exacta, si lo tira muy duro, el
Lo
vaso va a
bota.
empezar a balear. Si lo tira muy suave, también puede empezar. Entonces él tiene que tener una precisión exacta que caiga en el molde para que el molde no tenga problemas, el vaso no tenga problemas en la caída.
So he was saying that some of them are lighter, the containers are lighter, and if he pulls too hard, it makes it bounce.
Right.
Or pulls more than one at the same time, or that's why the button, he actually depends on that button according to how the container
Is
or the
behaving.
form of it and the bottom. So you need some containers, you need to get a little bit more pull force in order to pull it, and then how it drops it and lets go of it. That's why he was asking that it was very important to have the button, but you say that the way you set it up is that now it's going to work with all of them without having to bounce on when it
Yeah,
drops
with
in here.
how I set it here, the only thing I had to do is adjust the flow control a little bit. But, I mean, it's not in a cold room either, so that's, I know the button's nice, but I'm pretty sure a lot of that was set on site. Because,
Well, it had the 2 holes and 2 buttons already on the side.
I mean, if that's something you think
Would
we
rather
need.
have
Because it's easier to have something instead of having to open and having to
and
do
go
each cup
underneath.
Right.
for too many different
Yeah.
setups.
A button would be nice.
¿Qué pasa yo?
I mean, we can leave the reed switch over there and have a switch where you can disable or disable it, but also have the
No le
switch.
puso el sensor porque él usó eso para poder.
Sí,
Pero le
él
estoy
puede-
explicando que hay veces
sí,
que
claro,
bota
él puede
demasiado.
él puede estar así universal, pero en realidad uno necesita la calibración de eso por lo de los envases. No todos son iguales. Entonces no todos necesitan la misma precisión, no todos necesitan la misma fuerza. Si queda muy frágil, el vaso puede tambalear ahí cuando caiga. Y si queda muy fuerte, de igual manera, a lo que pegue con el molde, el vaso va a rebotar. ¿Va? Entonces, eso va a ser uno de los problemas.
Lo que pasa es que eso, lo único que te ahorraba era que no le tenías que mover el aire. Pero si, por ejemplo, cuando cae aquí, como tú dices, nomás íbamos y le movíamos el botón, ahora no. Ahora tenemos que, lo que él dice es que tenemos que venir a moverle aquí. Al sensor y para que caiga bien.
pero no va a repetir, no va
A calibrar el aire desde abajo.
Va a poner bandos.
La única diferencia, lo que él dice, si por el botón.